Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sunday Functioning Chat with Kettle Kitchen. Let's go ahead and get started. Well, good day, everybody. I hope everybody's having an enjoyable afternoon or early evening, depending on where you're at. I'm supposed to have a guest in with me, so I'm kind of holding on, seeing what I can figure out. I want to go ahead and say hi to everybody that is in chat. Jamie's Country Living, thank you for coming in. I see Virginia Alexander's in with us. Carrie Leonard, Robin, hello. Thank you for coming in. And what we're doing, Stephanie's in with us. Thank you for coming in. What we're doing is we're continuing our series on helping Tiffany create her collaboration, her first collaboration she's going to run in January. And so while that is an ongoing thing, Tiffany's having internet problems today. So we're going to go ahead and try to do what we can to go around that. And I thought a good thing to do is my guest ready? Oh, she's doing something. I think what the better thing to do, because I don't want to interrupt. Oh, I got a thumbs up, so I'm going to go ahead and bring her up. Hello, Miss Michelle. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Sorry, I
Good.
didn't mean to be in here. It's a mess.
You're fine. Don't worry about it. Lori, prepping for heavens in with us. Thanks for coming in. So Tiffany's having internet problems, so I still want to move on the same thought process we were on. So what I thought would be a good thing to do is two things, because they're kind of they're integral to what she's doing, but at the same token, it gives everybody else an example of it, so that when she comes back, when we do it the next time, then she'll already have the information. She can plug all her information in. So what those two things are is a calendar. How do you set up a calendar in a spreadsheet? And a primary letter you're sending out to everybody, inviting them, giving schedules, thumbnails, all the pertinent information. I wanted to go through, and at least from my perspective, what I do. Now, you've hosted collaboration as well. You still hosted a collaboration or co-hosted, however you want to say it. So you know from that aspect, though, what is important information. Okay. I did have a conversation with another channel today, through yesterday into today. And sometimes when you get information from collaborators, it's kind of unclear as to what the host collaborator sends out information, and it's either misleading or not all there as to what the collaborators are supposed to do. So I thought it'd be a great time to take that opportunity. And like I said, we still can plug and play this stuff into Tiffany's when she returns with us. So
shall I take notes for Tiffany and then
you can do that? I'm sure she'd probably appreciate that. I don't know if she's going to try to get in, but her status was not status quo. It was in and out. And so she didn't want to take a chance at dropping off in the middle. So
Ben.
All right. Okay. So that you're all ready to go. How are you today?
I'm fine. I'm meal prepping with ease.
Well, good. I love to hear that always. Were you smart? Did you think ahead?
I did. I'm thinking ahead for the whole week.
Well, then that's the way to do it.
I may bug out and show a couple things if we get show and tell in a while, because I would, I have to bring them into the office.
If we have the opportunity, we will do that. Glad.
That would be fun.
So that being said, I do want to reach out to a few people. As we've been doing Barb's Country Living, I want to send out a shout out to her, dealing with her situation. I know that Rhonda Mimi's Dishes has been going through some issues, and she's doing okay. It's just, that usual thing. And I know Mr. C has been dealing with some teeth issues, and he's doing okay, but still want to send thoughts his way. And then there's a mutual friend. I most of those, I think, if not all of them, you're mutually exclusive with them as I am.
I probably just don't know as much as you do.
But you know who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Our friend Angela. I think we need to throw some thoughts her way as well and keep her in our minds. Okay. Inquisitive farm wife. So just want to throw it out there. Any others you can think of?
We all need a prayer right now. I just went shopping.
No, well, okay, there is that too. That's all. That's for the podcast coming later this evening. No, I'm joking. Okay, so we got 14 people in here, so maybe we should just go ahead and start. So I'm going to go ahead.
Yeah, party's here, everybody.
Yeah. Oh, Big Valley Living's in with us. That's wonderful to see.
I know. She's so awesome. No, I'm just
kidding. Shameless plugs. I love them.
JJ's in doing laundry. He does laundry while watching football.
Well, hey, as long as he's being productive, right?
Hey, I love football season.
Yes. Yes, Lori, last couple of weeks have been bad for everybody. So
yeah,
I get that. And there is nothing wrong hearing another man doing housework. I love that still takes place.
Well, let me tell you, he's not just doing laundry today. He actually put borders around. We planted 2 trees, but he did the heavy lifting. He dug the holes. And then he's had to cut grass out around them and build 2 beds. Yeah.
The honeydew list is getting checked off. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, this is our time to garden and plant and everything. Summertime is so hot. So I'm just really enjoying this. It's probably about 70 right now. It's really nice today.
Yeah, whatever.
It's just beautiful. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Gorgeous. I love it. But the tomatoes suck because it's cold at night.
I don't even know what tomatoes on a vine look like anymore. Okay.
Neither do the farmers in the valley.
Okay. I'll give that. I think we're at a balmy 41 degrees here. So,
that'll be our low tonight. And I'm looking forward to that because I can have a fire in the fireplace.
Anyways, moving right along.
Sorry. Hey, Tanya.
No, that's Patty. Oh, Tanya, I didn't see her pop in there. Hi, I thought you heard Patty laughing in the background.
I did hear Patty in the background.
Okay. Hello, Tanya. Thanks for coming in. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and bring up, and I think I'm going to go with what I feel is the hardest for most people to start with. And that is in a spreadsheet, and I'm going to move us around so people can see hopefully more of what I'm doing. I don't even know if that helps. Okay, so you're going in and you want to set up a calendar for whatever it is theoretically, but we're showing for a collaboration how to set up a calendar. So you got to bear in mind, I've done this quite a few times, so I know what to default this system at. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to column A. I'm going to right click. Now I need to come back so I can see people's face, or your face anyways. I can't see everybody else.
You don't need to see my face.
Theoretically, the same process can be done in Google Docs as it is in Excel. Now, there are differences to each of those programs. There are similarities to each of those programs, but in the theory, you'll have the understanding of how to set it up. If you need more specific information, by all means, reach out to me and I'll help you because I do utilize both programs. So Norwegian Homestead, thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. Anyway, so going back into the document, I'm going to highlight column A. I'm going to right click it, and down here you see resize column. Can you see where I'm at there, Michelle?
Yep.
Okay, I'm just making sure it's seeable to what I'm doing.
I mean, if you were on your phone, it might be tough, but it's great on the
agree.
computer.
I agree.
Yeah.
So that column, we're going to make a standard size of 39. Okay. And this is pixels is what it is. And then you hit OK. And then as you can see, the column is a small version. Okay. I'm going to go to B, column B. I'm going to right click, do the same thing, go to resize column. And this number, we're going to make 217. Now, that is larger than the standard default, but you'll understand why here in a second. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, okay, so you see this one is much larger than A. B is much larger than A. Okay. I'm also going to take the row now, and I'm going to right click on that. I'm going to go down to the same place, and I'm going to change that number to specify row height and change it to 52. And now you can see it's bigger and you can see it as well. Okay.
Can I guess what you're going to do next?
Yes, go ahead.
Are you going to make like a header?
I will in a second. Actually,
okay.
I'm working on, I'll give you what I'm doing here. I'll do it in this one section. We'll multiply do it, and then we'll come back and do the header. But yes, that is an important part of this. Okay. So I now have that. I'm going to highlight both of them. I'm going to right click, hit copy, and I'm going to go into row 2, just the first column. I'm going to right click and paste. Okay. That didn't do anything, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
But there's a funny little dot there, so I think some magic could happen.
Okay. So what I am going to do is this. Okay. We've already got column A done in the size we want it. We got column B in the size we want it, but I didn't go any further in the rows. So what I need to do is highlight all 5 rows, which I'm going to include in a calendar cell. I'm going to right click, go down like we did before, specify, and it's already at 52. So I'm going to hit OK. Now you see what it did. All those rows are exactly the same as the first one. Okay. I'm going to highlight the 5 rows. I'm going to go up to borders right here. And I'm going to make all of them have a line. See how they all turned into a line?
Mm-hmm.
I'm now going to go to the outer border, but I want it thicker than the others. So I'm going to go down to the third one. Nope. I boo-booed that one. Sorry. I got to highlight the whole box this way and do an outer border there. Now you see how it's all boxed in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take this. If I can do it, I think I can do it. I'm going to highlight it, copy it, move over to C, and that should, nope, see, all it did was give me my borders, but it hasn't done anything to the rows or the columns. So how many days in a week do we have, Michelle?
7, Tony.
Okay. So there's the 4th one.
Should I have done this? 7, Tony.
7th one. Yeah, I can't see you right now, but I'm going to go with,
I'm doing a Vanna, full-on Vanna for you.
Okay, thank you. All right. So those are all done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the rows and height. So I click on C, hit the control button while I'm moving. I'm going to also hit column E because it's the alternating one, column G, column H, column K, and column M. I'm going to right click. See, it doesn't let me do that. That's what I was afraid of. I have to do them individually. So I'm going to go down here. I'm going to change these to 39. Hit OK. Come into E because it's the alternating one. Do exactly the same thing. Now, a lot of this sounds confusing and really a headache, but it's not once you do it repetitively. It becomes normal. So I'm just finishing that up. And
Alternatively, you could
resize.
copy the 39 and then just paste it every time you go into it.
You could do that.
Do you know the
There's
control keys for that, Tony?
copy and paste are Control C and Control V.
Bam.
If I want to remove the item, which I'll show you here at some point, hold on. Okay. And I'll wait to say what I was going to say until I have actual stuff in there to show you. So now I'm going to do the ones. Okay, so we already did the 39s for all the alternating. Now I have to go back and do the other columns, which those are the 217 pixel columns. So I got to do each one of those. So I will do what you said, highlighted, Control C for copy, and come over here, go into here, and paste.
That's about the extent of my skills in Excel.
Well, the beauty for me is that I'm actually considered an expert at Microsoft Excel. I've had more than enough training on it, so I should be. There you go. Okay, so I'm going to minimize the view so you can see what it looks like. Okay, that is what it looks like. So that'd be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks weird, right? I mean, let's be honest. Why would you have all those lines in there? Okay. So now what I'm going to do is in each one of these 2 column squares. So AB, the next one would be CD, then EF, then GH. You understand that part. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to remove the borders and then just do the outside border for right now. Okay. I also need to do the same thing to that one, the inside corner. Now, some people are going to say, why are you doing it that way? Here's the reason.
Oh, I can see it now.
That's where I'm going to put my number 1 for day 1. Over here, I'll put 2 for day 2. You kind of get the gist, okay? Now I have this all done. I can copy and paste because all of the columns and rows are width properly. Now that I've highlighted column A and B down to the 5, the 5th row, I can copy that, Control C, go over to this, and it will do it for me automatically. See?
Thing of beauty.
There you go. So now you have 7 days of a week. Here's the problem you run into, okay? As you can tell right here, there's a square, there's a square, there's a square, there's a square, and right next to it, there's another one, okay? That's because we have rows A and rows B. Columns A and column B, sorry, not rows. So I'm going to take this, we're going to say it's column A, but it's row 2, and I'm going to connect B to that. And I'm going to come up here to the merge cell button and click it. That is all now 1 square. There is no longer 2 squares in that row. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to copy and I'm going to do exactly the same thing to each of those. See? But in doing that, I lost my border. So again, I got to highlight the whole square, come back to my border, hit the outside border, and there you go. Make sense?
Mm-hmm. I would like you to just sell this to me. I'll give you money.
Okay. The next thing though, we're not done because that looks odd where that 1 is placed, right?
Yep.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the horizontal alignment button. I'm going to center it, but I'm also coming to the vertical align so I can center it as well. So now it's bold. I'm going to enlarge the size to 14.
That's always a good thing. It's easier to see.
Yes, now you see it, right? Okay. Again, now that this is completed, now I do this multiple times. Yes, you can wait and do it all at the end, but for simplicity to everybody watching, I thought it was easier for me to go back and copy and paste multiple times so that you get a clear understanding of what I'm doing. Now I feel theoretically this whole thing is lined up and ready to go, but it's not, and I'll tell you why. Because there's a part you don't see. If I was to come in here and type Big Valley Living, that's exactly what it's going to do when I enter the information.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what I want. I want it to be centered both vertically and horizontally. Okay. So I'll do it again. Kettle Kitchen this time, we'll say. Okay. Same thing as it did for Big Valley Living. It put it down in a default position. I want that horizontally and vertically centered. Okay. Now I have this format here. I can take the wording out. I'm going to copy and paste this one because it's where I want it. And I'm going to do it all the way around, all the way down. Okay. Again, I lost my outside border. So I need to come back into here and hit it one more time. But now I'm happy with what this is going to give me. Okay. So I'm going to take and highlight the 5 and I'm going to copy it into C, E, G, I. I'm moving so you can see K and M, but they're all formatted correctly. Okay. The only thing I got to do here now is I got to go in and if I change that, if I just type 2, I'm not doing any formatting, and then I get out of it, it's already where I want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm not going to go on down the line because here's the other part. Now I have this. I'm going to hit this corner button. Any idea what this corner button does?
Selects all.
Selects all of the rows and the columns. And I don't know if it'll let me do it this way. No, it won't. So I have to do these separately, and that's fine. So we said there was 5 rows in each one of these. I can resize those. These are going to be 52. That's why it's important to remember what your pixels are. Another set of 5 because this would be week 3 now. Another set of 5, week 4.
Hey, Alexander.
And then I always throw a 5th one in because there are some months where we do have 5 weeks. They may not be full weeks, but you still have flow over. 52. Okay, that's done, except now what else would I be forgetting? Well, typically I would be forgetting the column, except those are already lined out because we did that in the first steps. Okay. Now what I can do is I can take this whole line of 7 days, highlight it all, Control C to copy it, move down here. There's week 2, week 3, week 4, and week 5. Okay. Now I will show you there you go. There's your calendar. Do we see it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Looks good.
Now we want to do a header, you said. So I got to go 3 rows. I'm going to right click, insert 3 rows above because I want the header above the calendar I just made. Okay. And here's what I'm going to do here. Again, I'm going to take this 2 rows A and B on the third. I'm going to take columns A and B on the 3rd row. I'm going to merge it so I can type Sunday in it. Okay. And it's already centered for me. I'm going to do the same thing in the next one, and that's going to be my Monday. I'm going to do the same thing in the next set. That's going to be my Tuesday, and so on until I get them all done. Whoops.
Hate it when I hit that.
All caps button. Oops. Oh. Yeah, I got an issue there. Oh, I didn't merge it yet. That's why. There we go.
And this is Google's version of Excel, correct?
Correct. It's Google Docs is what it's called, but it is, yes, their version of Excel.
This is really good for me. I don't use it, but a lot of younger people who've gone through college are using this because you don't have to have a Microsoft license.
Right. You can just go online and do it, and it saves it to your Google Drive. You don't have to pay for it other than your Google Drive space. But if you're doing that already, you're not paying an additional charge. Okay. So the other thing I would do is I would go in the middle of this calendar. So there's 2 offset columns here and 2 offset here. I would take all the 3 in the middle, merge them together. Now that's all one cell, not 6 different ones. And I would type, we'll go with Tiffany's so that everybody sees what we're doing. Hashtag tailgate time. Whoops, it needs to be together, no spaces. Okay. Now that looks small, but here's what I would do to make it better. I would increase the size, and I would actually put a border around the whole thing, and there you go. Now you know what it's for. Your days of the week are all here, and all you have to do is manipulate the numbers accordingly. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And there you go. It's done.
That's
all there is to it. Okay? Now I will actually bring it back up because I do want to show this real quick what you can do to it. I can highlight a specific cell and shade it a different color. I can highlight a number day and give it a specific color. I can take a whole day and do a different color. This allows you to be able to highlight channels for future use down the road, and I do it quite often. Channels that put stuff out, we're having problems. Switches that I've had to do, like if I have a channel here and a channel there that want to switch, I'll put them both in the same color so I know they switch days or something to the like. Okay. That just gives you an example. What I would do though is
I like to use those colors too, like if I'm waiting for an answer from a particular channel about something.
Right.
Like yellow caution, or you know what I mean?
Yep, that's exactly what it is. You know, I do that quite often. I use green, red, and yellow all the time for different things. And it's just simply for the reason, I don't know why this didn't give me the size I wanted on here.
It grabs your attention though.
Yes.
Like a flag in an email.
Yes, it does. I mean, because if all of these are normal, say I have, doesn't matter what this information is, I can say, well, this channel isn't sure if they're going to be able to put out, so I'll put a color on there so I know that. This channel has a specific day they can put out, so I'm going to highlight that with a different color. Of course, over here, then I'm going to say this color means only day to post.
And that would be called a legend. If nobody knows that, that would be a legend, like in a map.
Yep.
Might as well just edify, right?
No. And I think it's great because then people have a clear understanding of what we're talking about. Now, in all honesty, I'm going to move these over one because I like a space between so it's not connected to the calendar. But like on the purple there, I would then put a box around it. This I would merge together so it's in one line. And there you go. You know?
Oh, center it.
Yep, that was my next thing I was going to do. There you go. And I could even put a box around this too if I want to, just so it is all together. But that gives you an idea, you know, because then I can take this, copy, paste it. What do I got? 5 colors here? Yeah. And then
not only that, but if you're sharing this doc with other channels, say, if
which
you're
we've done
co-host.
quite often. Yes. And there you go. There's all your 5 colors, and you can go through and state out what each of those 5 colors are. So, okay, now you're looking at the comments. Is there any other questions or anything that anybody's asking about that I can answer specifically in dealing with the calendar you make for your collaboration?
No, we're talking about weather.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go then.
And Alexander, I'm sorry, Tony, squirrel.
You're fine.
I just pulled up NOAA, and actually we have a 30% chance of rain Monday night. And Tuesday daytime, Tuesday night it'll clear out, but 80% Wednesday, and chances all the way until Saturday. So I would imagine that in his neck of the woods, it's going to get a little bit old and icy.
I have kids coming in. Sorry. So you have a Arctic blast coming through.
He does. And it's 73. I lied. Right now.
You just had, didn't you? Hello, Rena LaRue. Thank you for coming in.
Hey, Rena.
Let me see so I can tell you exactly. It is 42 degrees here.
Yeah.
And our overnight is 33.
Well, at least it's consistent.
Yes.
I don't want anything like that. We have our citrus trees are simultaneously ripening and putting new buds out. So I'm hoping very much. Well, the lemons are at least.
Yes.
So I don't want to deal with any of that. But also a little peach tree we put in is starting to bud. It's a little confused.
So it's not supposed to be peaching, is what you're saying.
Yeah. 58 in Kentucky. Hey, Cheryl.
Yes.
Wow.
Hello, Cheryl. Thanks for
coming. That's pretty nice. That's a nice day.
Yes. All right. So I'm one more time before I move on. Anybody have questions regarding how to do Google Docs or Excel, making a calendar for anything, but in this specific case for a collaboration?
No, that's a good looking calendar.
And it was easy. I mean, really, we took less than 30 minutes and we had it fixed and ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Other than the dates. The dates were the only thing we would have to change in that right now. So.
And you can even put them on the right day of the week and all that too,
yes,
since you put your 5 lines. I'm looking at my paper calendar hanging on the wall.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, that looks good.
So one of the things, and I'll bring it back up to, because just so people know, what I will do is I will go through, and where this legend is over here, okay, I actually will list out my calendar, whatever it is. So we'll say the 1st, and then the 2nd, and then the 3rd, and it doesn't matter what month it is, just, you get a point. I'm going to merge that together, drop those all down. Okay, so now I can go Big Valley Living. Oh, I guess that's kind of small for everybody. Let me zoom that in a little bit, and I'll just move over to here. There you go. And then I can do Kettle, Kitchen, and then Mudd and Mascara. Okay, and then I will zoom out a little bit, but now I can correlate this list here to the calendar and make sure that it matches up. And I leave that list there so that when I'm moving forward, then I know what I'm looking at in the calendar as I go through it. So.
Very nice.
Yes. Hello, Miss Christine. Thank you for coming in.
Christine.
Okay, so then the next thing we move on to then is, what should you have in a letter you're putting out for an invite? Okay, again, my perspective doesn't mean I'm right or I'm wrong. It's just the process I go through, and that's all it's intended to be, is informational. Everybody's got their own way of doing things, but I thought we could go through that as well. So I will share what I'm calling the sample letter, but it's a bulleted list that actually will go through what you should do. Now, this is all based off of my Noodle November, and I picked it apart so everybody could see what I included in there. So the first thing I list is an intro, and here you can say thank you, so much for joining, what the collaboration is, tell them what you're going to give them. Okay. The second one is I want to let you know what it is that I'm doing. What is the collaboration? How, so you have confidence in what it is that we're going to do. You're willing to be a part of it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
C is a playlist. Here's a link. Now, okay. So we have to have a talk about this because
somebody's challenged and can't add things to playlists.
But it's not that, actually. I think it's sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
I didn't even try. I have
Lonnie tried to get it and he couldn't get his to load, but I had given him access as a collaborator. So it wasn't because I did something wrong or he did something wrong. Sometimes it doesn't let you do what you're supposed to. Okay. And I think it's important to set it up, and maybe on the next live, or maybe if I have a few minutes later, we can talk about it. But showing people how to go about setting up a playlist in YouTube, because that's not easy either. So, anyway, so I'll bring this back up. Okay, so we talked about the playlist, and you want people to know where it is and what they have to do. I have a tendency to realize I assume people know, and sometimes they don't, especially if we have new channels that are coming in. So maybe it's something I need to work on, but that's something I'll work on down the road. Then I go through and I'll put rules in what time I expect the videos to be out by, and I try to be as generous as possible.
Yeah, 6 o'clock at night is pretty generous.
It is. I mean, most channels are putting their stuff out. Yeah, that's Pacific time. That's 9
because a lot of them would be 9, 10 o'clock at night, and 9 o'clock.
I just didn't want people to feel pressured by a timeline, because that can become overwhelming as well. But I mean, it depends on the person. And then I also list out, like right here, I'm listing out specifically what it is I'm asking you to do. Okay. Then you go into what needs to be into the videos. You need to make sure you mention in your first few minutes of the video is what I usually ask. You tell them who the host is. You mention the name of the collaboration, a hashtag if you have one, repeat again the playlist. Now, I know that seems repetitive, but you don't know how many times I've gotten emails or phone calls. I can't find the playlist. Well, I try to make it obvious. I mean, now there's 2 locations you can have it at. Okay. And then the next thing as well is, are you going to have a live stream? Are you going to do giveaways? How do people win from that? And I think this paragraph really sums up the whole entirety of how you could win a prize. Okay. Now, again, and I want to come back to you guys here and bring this down for a second. I think there is tons of room for manipulation of that. Okay. Because not everybody does hashtag, not everybody does comment picker, not everybody does door prizes, not everybody does, they'll set out and say, I only have 3 prizes I'm giving away, and they're all going to be based off random video comments is the word I'm looking for. Sorry. So not everybody has a different way, but everybody has, or multiple people have different variations of that. I think it's just important, however you're going to do it, you need to stick to it so that people can't call you out on it later, doing all door prizes when you said they were going to be video comment pickers. That's what I'm referring to. So, okay, I'll bring this back up. So then again, the next thing is graphics. Now, here's something I do for all of my collaborations. I do the standard thumbnail that everybody can use. I don't care that you don't put anything else in there other than that. I don't mind if you put additional items in there than that. Okay. But I also allow a blank. So you can put information in this section, or you can add a picture
And
into
thank
that.
you for that. I like those.
And I think it makes it easier for you guys,
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just give an example real quick. Here's the plate of food I did for Noodle November. Okay.
That looked really good, by the way.
It was. I'm here to tell you
I
it
haven't
was.
commented officially, I don't think, because we watch it on TV and then I try and double back. But I don't like to go double back, make a comment, and then leave because now can you remove the background of the around the plate in your program?
I think I can. I've not worked with it, but I think you can. I'll have to look at that because now you got me curious.
Yeah, because I mean, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But in this case, it probably would. It'd probably keep your thumb on there. But the plate is blue, so it's well defined. I just think that looks so cool because then it would look like it's on that counter.
So because I'll go with. Let me show what I did.
I'm sorry, but I just made you chase a squirrel. But
no, because I think it's a valid point. Let me show you what I did end up putting in on mine, because now you have what the start of it was.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it ended up, was just like that.
Mine was that way too, I think.
But it allows you have that blank space there. Now you can insert your video. I inserted the dish it was right there, but none of the rest of that has changed.
Mm-hmm.
So it allows you to be able to do that with still having the same format. That's the point. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then I also of course I just offset everything because I just added that in there. But I have a logo. That's the primary logo. Okay. But I also add a transparent logo so you can put it on your video without all of the distracting color variations or words or whatever it may be. So that looks plain, but when you put that on a video, it makes it nice that it's just simple and it's overlaid.
Clearly. Yeah, because then you can tuck it anywhere you want. I always like the clear pings when those are sent out. I will choose them every time.
Now, I'm not here to have the conversation politically speaking, but I had to change my wording because I used to just call it Noodle November 23 logo trans. I had somebody call me out on that word.
No way.
And I'm like,
it's just transparent.
It's short for transparent. I never in a million years thought anybody would take it that way, but somebody did. So
I had a controversial vanity license plate one time. We decided to forego buying lunch to buy a pickup. So we made the vanity plate lunch money. But you can't make that all in a thing. So it was LNCHMNE. Lunch money. Oh, and somebody called me out and like drove me off the road to tell me she thought I meant lynch. And I'm like, it took me like 2 minutes to wrap my head around what she was angry about.
Right. I get it.
When you have to explain a vanity plate, it's time to get rid of the plate.
Oh, yes. Oh, Jamie's Country Living has a pasta maker coming for her noodle.
That's cool.
That is cool. Cool.
Ooh, all right. She's teasing us. I think you're going to like the intro. Come on,
yep.
Jamie. Give it up.
Yep. I love it. All right. So moving on. Then I also put a calendar into each one of them. Yeah, I mean, this is the shortened version, but you get it. I listed out the intro, my video, then each video that's coming out on a day. Now, the next thing would be channel links, which you, as much as you want to, very well can add in channel links if you want to. I'm going to come back here and do the full face thing. Here's the thing I'd watch. And Michelle, you are a prime example because I know you've ran into this in the collaborations. If you have all your information that's requested by the host, as well as the calendar, as well as the channel links, sooner or later, you're only allowed 5,000 characters in those description boxes.
Yeah. And if you want to put your recipe in there,
right.
I don't even like to link to my recipe. I want it right there so that they can write it down or whatever.
Right.
And yeah,
Right.
you run into a lot of issues if you have an ingredient. First, you have your thank you to your host, right?
Right.
So yeah, it's kind of a bummer. Now, if it's well, I guess you could always just do the link at Jamie's Country Living, at Tony, at
Right.
Kettle Kitchen, right? You could
Right.
totally do that.
You could do it, but then
Shameless
there are
plug,
some.
Jamie. Sorry,
What?
I just gave her a shameless plug.
Oh, okay. What you could do is you could do it that way. Here's the problem you run into. Sooner or later, you have to decide which information is important and you want in there. Now, there are some channels out there that have the @ sign, but they're @ sign with a different handle than what their channel name is. So it might be misleading to some of the people. If I put in there just, for example, excuse me, if I put in there at Kettle Kitchen, you're going to know what that is. But if I go in there and I say at Tony G 2023, you're never going to have an idea of what that channel is connected to. So you just have to watch out how you do it and when you want to do it. Okay. Would you agree?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And then the last thing is you want to thank your collaborators as well. Don't forget to do that because I think it's important. Now, we have talked about this before. We have discussed this before. When you get into a point of sending your emails out, and I'm still trying to learn this because everybody's got to remember I did it for a year before I started thinking about it. Okay. And it was from personal experience, but more because I was watching it happen. Okay. Send your emails out as blind carbon copies so that those that don't want their email plastered everywhere, it is everywhere. Because once you send out, when we did the shindig, I think we sent out 75 emails. That's a lot of emails that are going out to a lot of people that harmlessly are not intending to do anything, but they will reuse it. They think it's okay to reuse it. And if there's somebody that doesn't want their information out there, you've now just stepped over that line and done something that somebody doesn't like.
There's another point too.
Okay.
I work for a large company. When an all staff email goes out and it's not blind carbon, it's not blind copied.
Mm-hmm.
There will be people who reply to all.
And they do it quite often.
And then people reply to all
Yes.
reply to all to tell them not to reply to all. And it can snowball very quickly.
Very easily. I mean, I'm only talking 75.
Right.
Emails.
But even that,
you send out 1,000 of them, you've now multiplied the problem. Yes, I get it.
And now you have a lot of very angry people and a super busy server.
Yes. And they're irritated. Most of them.
Lots of irritation.
Yes. So
Yes.
I do agree with you. I think, and I'm trying to move into that. The other thing I want to mention too, and this is just in general to collaborators in general, and it's a request that has been out there for a while. I've just had a struggle converting to it. If you're a cooking channel that puts out, or another channel that just puts out a cooking video, that's what I'll say, consider putting out their imperial measurements as well, not just metric measurements.
Yeah, I'm not really good at that.
And I'm not either, but
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important because it's inclusive of other people and it lessens their struggle, because you may lose that person if they have to sit and try to figure out what the conversions are.
Mm-hmm.
Where, yeah, it's added time, but once we do it, it's nice, and it is inclusive of others that may want to do it. So,
well, just about everybody in the world, except
everybody
us,
but the United
metric.
States. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is nice. And you know what? Eventually we start to, it's like when you're translating a language, if English is your second language or some other language is your second language, you start to always kind of think about what you're saying in both terms.
Right.
I've got a machine in my shop that, takes a dehumidifier. And so it only reads in Celsius. And I'm like, well, and so I'm starting to kind of start, doing it.
I've been talking to Blue long enough that I've forced myself to. She always goes to look up, okay, what's Celsius? What's Celsius? What's Celsius? It's like, that's so unfair. I should actually look it up before I even say anything.
Didn't you have your oven set at 360 degrees in your video?
Yes, I did. Geez, where did that come from, Michelle?
That was hilarious. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe you put 360. It's a good thing you don't have an old oven.
But it is exactly the reason, because when we were talking about it, she told me it in Celsius. Well, I had to go look
Oh,
at what it
gotcha.
was in Celsius. I mean, she figured it out and told me about it.
Yeah.
She said, but it's 10 degrees different. It actually will help in the crisping up of that topping. It's not going to hurt it, and it's not, overly hot. She said, that's what I would do it at. And I was like, how'd you come up with that number? And she's like, we bake everything at 360. Well, not 360 for her, but it's what we would consider 360. So I think it's 180 degrees Celsius, if I remember correctly.
That's also one of the reasons that sometimes I like the idea of weighing my food.
Yes.
1.5 cups, and this is going to be totally wrong, or 40 grams of,
Right.
grated cheddar cheese or something like that.
And that's what I'm referring to, because it's not just your temperatures, it's your ingredients as well. And here is the reason for me. Here is the reason. As a watcher, you hate having to go translate the measurements and the temperatures. Whereas we as content creators, if we take 5 extra minutes to put it in there, they don't have to, and we may keep them on in whatever it is we're trying to show. So
now I've got a question.
Yes.
I suppose, now I'm going to have to look it up when we're done. If I remember. But my question would be, like a 9x13 pan. That's standard here, right? 2-quart pan, whatever. I don't even know if the bottom of my pans say what the translation is, like into liters. Let's say it's a 5-quart pan. I don't even know. Now I want to go look and see if it
and
does
most
or not.
don't. Some do, most don't. Yeah.
And if you're doing bread, see, I used to watch videos where they would say 40 grams and 30 grams.
Right.
And I thought, oh, well, aren't you all that? And then I started doing it. And I thought, that's a universal measurement language.
It's universal. Yep.
Right. So now everybody's part of it. And you can buy those scales for like $3 now.
And I'm going to talk about a certain individual without naming the certain individual, but the individual I'm talking about. And he is at a point where he is in multiple locations. I know all of his are based off the other, and then part-time out of the year, he's got to reconvert that mentally. I'm sure he's got that. Okay. But it would help in that situation for him if he wanted to do mine or your recipe. Oh, it's already there. I don't have to even think about it. It's already done. It just makes, even if it makes it easier that you don't have to think about it, I guess is what I'm saying. So anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah. See, so Jamie uses that for sourdough.
Right.
Yeah. I kind of weigh, I go between the two, but for bread, we do tend to weigh still.
Yes.
It just makes more sense. And then we don't have to wonder, like when they say sifted or unsifted. Well, it's not going to matter if it's in
grams, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Then you sift if you want to, and don't worry about it if you don't.
If I'm putting something together, like if I'm making a meal, usually I'm not specific. I know what I'm trying to say, but it's going to come out wrong. I'm not anally specific about it being an exact 1.5 cups to the top, running something flat over it, making perfectly sure it's exactly that. But if I'm baking, or if I'm doing a dessert of any kind, if I'm doing my chocolate, when I do my chocolates, it's exactly.
Say that again. When you do your chocolates?
When I do my chocolate, yes.
Sorry.
How did you take this from baking and chocolates into the debate of the great cacao?
It's chocolate's brown.
I kind of gathered that. Oh,
Oh,
Lordy.
Lordy B. I'm reading some of these. Yeah, and I'm reading the comments. It's true. We are so dependent on our measurements and everything.
We are.
Rena said, I wonder how and when we changed to our measurements, because when the pilgrims came, they surely didn't use cups, pounds, etc. That's so true. And miles, exactly.
Yes. Yes.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
you know what? I think they were so much more connected to their organic environment. They knew what it should feel like. They knew how
Sure.
it should smell.
Sure.
I cook with my heart all the time. I
Didn't,
find it very difficult to do a recipe
didn't
and
your mom have,
quantify.
when your mom did like recipes and stuff like that, it doesn't feel right. It needs
Yes,
more flour.
exactly.
It doesn't feel right, right?
I'm going to reach up and
And
grab
Patty,
something and show
no,
you.
that's fine. Patty does that still to this day, but it's the one I remember. It just doesn't feel right. The consistency is not correct. And it's like, I always wondered why you would do that. But I mean, now that I've done more things and Patty's helped me along the way as well,
Okay, well, I can't find it. I've got a cookbook from my great grandmother that's handwritten by my grandmother.
Oh, okay.
And so my great grandmother was born in 1887. So she would just say, in a warm oven, in a hot oven, in a very
Right.
hot oven, or use hot grease or something. That was in the recipe I had the other day to saute the onion. It said use hot fat. So I guess it didn't matter. You could have used lard. I don't think they even had vegetable oil in World War II. I don't think hydrogenated oil was.
Do you have the key?
Yeah.
Okay. Be careful. I'm online still. Yep.
There's so much to learn over here. Wow.
That's what I love about our people in chat.
Oh yeah, me
So
too.
much for them. Yep. Again, the flip side to that, Lori says she doesn't use exact measurements either. I don't, unless I'm baking. If I'm baking, I have learned there's only two things I do it with. Okay, now the one is a collective, and that's baking of any part or rice. I'm the guy that's going to make the rice fail. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me how.
2-1, buddy. 2-1.
2-1 doesn't always work in my house for whatever the reason is. I've done it before. But I found this awesome thing my sisters let me use because she don't have the space for it right now. Instant Pot works wonders for rice.
I have never used my Instant Pot I just do it on the stovetop. Always have, always will. No special tools needed, and it comes out perfect every time. And if you have a problem with your rice sticking, well, first you bring it up. Oh, stop. All you gotta do is make sure that water comes up to a boil first. Make sure your rice is rinsed. Put it in there. My ex-husband actually taught me this when I was like 18. If it sticks, if you have a problem with your rice sticking, and you may, I guess, depending on the humidity where you live or something, a little piece of green onion in that water will, for whatever reason, keep it from sticking so badly.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, a bonus.
But mine's
and
not
it works.
sticky. My problem is the rice not consuming the liquid. And then I'll have water at the bottom and it'll be hard and crunchy still.
And you do 2-1?
I've done.
I mean, on white rice. I should qualify that for white rice.
Yeah.
Wow. I haven't, Rena. I have not boiled eggs in my Instant Pot yet, and I really want to try it.
Hallelujah! See, she gets it. For as much as I do what I do, and you know what I'm talking about, I found a way to fix rice perfect without issue, and that's what I'm sticking to. I don't care that it's an extra machine. It makes my life great. Okay?
It's cool. It's cool. I love Xander's got the old Italian way to do it, I think. Cover the rice to your first knuckle.
Hello, Annette. Thank you for joining us. Nice early morning for you. I love these guys talking in side chat because the information, it just exudes out of them, and sometimes they don't even realize it.
Well, I did not know that rice was originally from Italy and pasta from China, and then they swapped. I like
I
them
have
both.
heard
I am
that.
an equal opportunity carb eater.
Me too. Me too.
No discrimination here at
No,
all.
no, no. Should I
Hmm.
be? Not at all, but I am.
That was a beautiful calendar, by the way. I just want to say that.
Well, thank you. I mean, the whole point is, did it make it easier? That's the whole point, and I hope it did. And if anybody has questions, please, I will answer them. They're not hard questions to answer. So, I mean, I could have went in a lot more detail, but I opted not to. That was just the easy way to show you. So,
You know what would be really fun? I'm reading Alexander's message here. You're dealing with a history nut here, Michelle. I am too. I think it'd be fun to do like a history month and everybody pick a thing and do like a 10-minute deeper dive on whatever it is, cooking related or kitchen related. That'd be kind of fun.
so when you're talking about chocolate and the doo-doo factory,
You know what got me thinking about that is that stupid emoji.
yes,
That looks like. Do you remember the candy called Flicks?
yes, I used to eat Flicks all the time.
Before kisses were a thing.
When I first seen that emoji, that I was like, "That's like Flicks
It's
with
like
an
a
eyeball."
Flicks. Exactly. Oh.
And I always thought Flicks would be awesome to put in chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah, I suppose. You know, and now that I think about it, they did have a little bit of a metallic taste to them. God knows what was in those
Yeah.
things.
I always wondered if they recycled the inside of toilet paper things to make their containers with.
No, they did that for push-up popsicles.
Oh, okay.
They just covered it with polka dots.
That's funny. All right, guys, we're at an hour. I want to say thank you to Michelle for coming in. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hopefully the information was good. And I believe next week we are doing the pantry challenge catch up.
Oh.
Yes. And so the week after is when we'll pick up back on the collaboration for Tiffany. Moving right along. I think we'll be further ahead, and she actually may be at the point of sending her information out. So we're doing good.
Cool. That's going to be neat. That's nice and early too.
Yes, and that's what her point was. She wanted to make it early, be early, so everybody had plenty of time. Plus, it was in time and before the big game. So
Stephanie, if you want to stay on for just an extra second, Stephanie's asking. She forgot about the pantry challenge. Do you want to explain what it is that we're doing?
Okay, so what we are doing is $10 a week, $40 a month, $20 every 2 weeks, whichever it is that your budget and your pay system allows for. What can you get for that amount of money? That can come from many, many variations of where it can be the grocery store. It could be something you canned. It could be something you deep fried, freeze dried, dehydrated. It could be for your pantry. It could be for your spice rack. It could be for your long-term storage, short-term storage, refrigerator, because all those things inclusively are part of our pantry system. So
I'm thinking about using that cabinet back there. If I could just find a place to put all the stuff that's in it. I'm thinking about using that as my pantry challenge. I could just open the cabinet every month and show it. But that's going to be a once a month meetup, right? Just so everybody knows it's not going to be reported every week or anything like that.
No, once a month we'll do that. The 19th is our next one, and I'll let you know what the next one after that'll be on the 19th. $10 a week, $40 a month, depending on how it is that you get your money. And the ultimate goal at the end of 12 months is this is how we were able to put this amount of food into our pantries. If you guys on the side, like Stephanie and Rena, and I know that there was a couple others that want to join, if you want to take a picture of what you got, send it to me. I'll keep it into a folder. And then as we go along, we can just add those pictures to what we have. So,
and this does and can include anything from hygiene products, toilet paper, toothpaste,
animal food,
products, anything that you feel that would benefit you to stock up on.
Right.
Yeah. So it's pretty open.
I agree. Yep. All right. Thank you again. Thank you to everybody inside. Remember, be smart, think ahead, meal prep with ease, and
be kind.
and be kind. Have a good week, guys. Bye.
Bye.